Hello everyone. I'm back. Sorry, it's been about like a month since I've uploaded a video. So sorry about the small hiatus that I took. I started school, so I think that was why I didn't upload for so long. And I was also sick, so my voice sounds a little bit weird. That's why. I literally lost my voice completely, and I couldn't really speak for like 4 days, but luckily it came back. So that's nice. Since it's been like such a while since I've actually sat down and filmed a video, I thought I'd just do like a little update of what I've been reading recently, what I've read like within the past month or so. I've seen a lot of other booktubers do this, where instead of doing wrap-ups, they kind of like monthly wrap-ups, they kind of just talk about books they read recently every couple months, and I think that's a good idea because I don't really do wrap-ups here ever. Let me know if you'd like to see like monthly wrap-ups and TBRs, or if you just want me to do like this kind of thing every once in a while. But yeah. Also, I'm in a different spot because I got new bookshelves. I actually have this one and then one over there. So I have two new ones. They're nice. They're in a different spot. I had to figure out a new way to film myself, but now I'm sitting actually, not on the floor. So this is a better spot than I had before. So let's just get into the video. There's a stack of books to talk about. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is actually a reread. So in August, I reread Strange to Dreamer by Laini Taylor, which is one of my favorite books of all time, if you didn't know that. I haven't read it since, I think, 2018, so it's been quite a few years. I really needed a refresher, and also another bookstagrammer did like a little read-along where we reread all of Laini Taylor's books. It was cool. It was like a Discord thing. It's over now because we already read all of her books, but I would link it down if it was not already over. So yeah, I read this in August. Really enjoyed it. I listened to the audiobooks this time around, and I really like the audiobooks. I think the narrator's name is Steve West, but he does a lot of audiobooks, and he also is Elias and Ember in the Ashes and Nasir and We Hunt the Flame. So I really like that narrator. Does a really good job with Laszlo as well. And also I like tab some stuff. Can't really see because I painted the edges. But yeah, there's some tabs that I put in there, and that was a really good experience. And then I also reread Muse of Nightmares, which is a sequel to Strange to Dreamer. Don't have many thoughts on it. I liked it as... Well, I loved them both just as much as the first time. Still my favorite books. I liked Muse of Nightmares maybe a little bit less the second time, just because I found it to be a bit slow in certain areas. And kind of like Nova and Cora, who is new characters that we get their point of view too. I was kind of a little bit bored with them. I felt like it found... And then what I read next after my Muse of Nightmares reread in September was The Queen's Secret by Melissa De La Cruz. So the first book is The Queen's Assassin, which I read last year and really liked. So yeah, this was just a sequel. It was also the last book in the series. I don't really have many feelings about it. It was enjoyable. It was a bit predictable at points. And the ending was very like, they all live happily after, which was kind of unrealistic, based on what was happening in the book. And there was a lot of like plot points where just like, they were just very conveniently placed, where like the characters didn't really work very hard. They just like fell in their lap. Like when that happens, it's a little bit annoying. But yeah, I liked it overall. I write really fast. This one was a bit darker than the first one, so I kind of like that. But I also kind of like enjoy the lightness of these books, or I enjoy like the banter. So there was less of that than in the first book. It was more of like a dark book, which I enjoyed, but also kind of just a lot different than the first book. But yeah, I really liked it. I don't really have much to say about it. I think I gave it 4 stars. But yeah. Alright, so I'm doing this a bit out of order. So I read Strange the Dreamer, and then I read The Queen's Assassin, and then I read Muse of Nightmare, so there was a book between those. And then I read Strange the Dreamer in August, and Muse of Nightmares, and The Queen's Secret in September, last month. So this is gonna be like a weird order. But the next book I read in August for September was Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. I think that's how you say her name. Or I don't know what the author's pronouns are. But I read this in August, actually, not September. So I read it, like, I think after I read Strange the Dreamer. Sorry, this is, like, really complicated, and I probably did not need to clarify exactly when I read these books, but now you know. So basically my book club actually picked this book for August. I'm in, like, kind of like, it's like a casual, like, Discord server. Book club that's hosted by a bookstagrammer, a fellow bookstagrammer that I know. I'll link their profile below if you like want to join the book club. But it's basically a sapphic book, sapphic. How do you say that word? Sapphic? Yeah, sapphic book club, where we kind of just like throw out a bunch of recommendations and then we kind of choose one. And then I actually was the one to recommend this book because I already owned a copy of it because I bought it for my dad for Christmas last year, I think. So this is technically my dad's book, but I stole it, so I don't really know what my dad thought about it. I haven't asked him yet. I'm actually pretty sure his bookmark is still like 60% through, so I'm hoping, so maybe that means he didn't like it. So I had like a weird experience reading this book. First couple chapters I think I read physically, and I was like kind of confused. So I got the audiobook from the library, and then the library really helped me like understand the story. And the narrator was really good. So that definitely helped getting the audiobook. And then I listened to the audiobook for the rest of it, and I think I overall really enjoyed it. It's definitely like really hard to understand what's happening at first. There's a lot of like characters, there's a lot of world building that's like not explained super well. The narration, like the writing is like not quite like what I'd normally expect. It's a bit different. So it's definitely a bit hard for me to like catch what was going on, but like I still really liked it. I still was really enjoying it. This book, honestly, like, it's one of those books where it made me, like, laugh really hard, even though, like, it's not a happy book. It's, like, a very, like, violently graphic book. But, like, just, like, Gideon as a character is just so damn funny. Like, I laugh so hard from the narration. But, yeah, that was great, and the narrator is, like, fantastic with the humor as well. So yeah, I ended up giving this, I think a 3.5. But yeah, I overall really liked it. I just had a bit of trouble getting into it. I don't think I was really, like, super deep into the story until I was maybe, like, halfway through. So it definitely took me a really long time to get into it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I read it. And yeah, let's talk about the next book. So I just realized that I, like, have not, like, been, like, explaining the synopsises of any of these books. So, sorry about that. I'm obviously not going to go back and refilm it and, like, explain what the book is about. But you can look it up on Goodreads. So, the next book that I read was actually the next book that my book club chose, and that was In the Ravenous Dark by A.M. Strickland. And I read this in September. That was the September book club pick. This is actually, like, I think one of my most anticipated reads of 2021. but I didn't have a copy of it, so I'm glad that I was able to like make an excuse to buy a book for this book club. But I think like the reason that I was like super anticipating this book is that the main character is like I don't know how to say that word. Like main character is pansexual and is like confirmed, which I'm pan, so I really was excited to read it. We read a book with a pan character. And this book did not disappoint. I really liked it. It's super fast-paced and fun. And there's a lot of like other queer characters besides the main character. There's like a non-binary side character who's also asexual, and there's like a lesbian, and there's like a polyamorous relationship in there. So yeah, I really liked it. Was very good. Did not disappoint. And I think I read this book in like 4 days, which is very impressive considering it's kind of long. And then this is also a standalone, which was definitely a little bit of like out of what I would normally read, because I normally read series, but it was really like refreshing to read a standalone, to like read it and be like, okay, I'm done, I can move on. So yeah, it was really nice to read a standalone for once. Alright, and then the next book I read was actually Horror of the Ninth, the sequel to Gideon the Ninth. And I borrowed this from the library as an audiobook as well, as a narrator. And I was actually kind of like reading this like at the exact same time as In the Ravenous Dark, because I like was reading In the Ravenous Dark, or I was reading I think I was reading News of Nightmares at the time, and then like this came in like as an audiobook as well, so I like started it while I was reading News of Nightmares, and then I was also reading it as I was reading In the Ravenous Dark, so I was like reading it like on the side. But yeah, I was reading like 2 books at once, which was a bit different for me, but I managed to do it, so I'm giving myself my pat on the back, because I finished this and In the Ravenous Dark like 3 days apart, so good job. So this book was definitely like a lot different than the sequel. It wasn't really what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting, but it was not the way this story was told. The way the narration is told is very weird, and it's very, the character is very, what is it called? Unreliable, so you're kind of like, is this really happening, or is this a hallucination? So yeah, it was something like a really weird experience for me, but I like really enjoyed it. At the same time, I was like confused, but you know, confused in a good way, where I just wanted to know what was happening. So yeah, I really like this. I think I liked it more than Gideon the Ninth, actually. I think I gave it 4 stars overall, but it took me a while to arrive at that rating. Because after I finished it, I was just like shocked, and I was like, I don't know what just happened. I need a second to process this. But yeah, 4 stars. This one was a bit slow, as well. At least it wasn't really slow, it was just the way that it was written confusingly, and then the things that needed to be explained were not explained until like 70% into the book. And then I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Like now I understand like why it's being told this way. But I definitely like feel like it could have been maybe shortened down a little bit, and like some things could have been explained earlier, and I probably would have enjoyed it more. Like it maybe would have been 5 stars if it had been explained more. But yeah, I really like this, and I am still in shambles about the ending. So I hope the 3rd book like comes out like next year soon, because I need to know what happens next. But yeah, I really like this. I gave it 4 stars, and I liked it more than the first book, so that's good. And then the last book that I'm going to be talking about today is the book that I finished most recently, and that is The Other Side of the Sky by Amy Coppa and Megan Spooner. I don't really know if you can see the cover very well. It's kind of shiny. But this is actually the first of my, a couple videos back I made some 5-star predictions, and this was actually one of them. So I read my first 5-star predictions, and spoiler, it was 5 stars. I really liked it, as much as I predicted. But yeah, this book was fantastic. I loved every second of it. I don't want to talk a lot about it. I will talk about more in depth why I like it when I talk about all the books together in that video. That I predicted that I would give 5 stars, but yeah, I gave this book 5 stars. And this is another one I read really fast. I think I read this in like a week, and it's pretty chunky, so yeah, super interesting world, and super interesting characters. I think the only one thing I really didn't like about it was I didn't really not like it. I just didn't love it. I wasn't that big of a fan of the romance. I thought it was just okay. Like, I didn't see a lot of chemistry in it. I started to see a little bit more near the end of the book. But yeah, I thought the romance was just alright. But yeah, I'm still excited for the second book to see what happens in the romance and also in the plot. And this is another one where the ending left me hanging. But luckily the next book, I think it's called Beyond the End of the World, it already has like a cover and stuff. And it comes out February next year, so I do not have to wait that long for answers for this one, so that's good. But yeah, that is the last book that I finished, and I think that is the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed me rambling. I was a bit rambly in this video. But yeah, hopefully I'll start to upload videos more regularly again, and I hope you enjoyed this, and subscribe to my channel and give this a thumbs up. Bye.